Hey y'all, it is the last Friday of 2023. It's a very gray day. It's a little chilly. Decided to put the hood up and a knitted hat on. Today, I'm going to be honest, is a little bit rough to just kind of function in a normal sense. And I think it's just when the temperatures, as you are probably well aware, when it gets a little bit colder, it gets a little bit grayer, it's a little bit harder. But there were two things that basically motivated me to kind of continue with my daily routine and my commitments. And that is number one, taking care of all the creatures that I have decided to um, share life with, basically. And that was intentional. Have creatures to give kind of this quest for life's purpose and kind of human being, not human doing. And getting into a routine of interaction during kind of like feeding times and that type of thing. And that really does like bring a spark. Second thing is this commitment I've made to myself of if I could, I would spend more time coming down here and taking a walk on the land. And as a forest therapy guide, I know intellectually that spending time in nature is really good for lots of health benefits, including just boosting your mood. So I can say that it is like super fresh and crisp outside right now, even though it's cold. It does feel really good. I'm betting that the water is actually not super cold because it's, flowing pretty good. I was expecting snow, flurries, not a huge amount. This is the middle south section of Tennessee, which is a very rectangular state. 9 geological regions, and this one is called the Western Highland Rim. You can see some of the um, geological elements of that with the limestone. And, I come down here and kind of like the smallness of our time on the planet really becomes kind of like full awareness when I think about like all the rocks that are here and like how long something it took something to water to carve out and all of these different things and the watershed that's here and as the foothills of Appalachia and it doesn't make human life less circumstantial, but I think that it like makes it more powerful of like the limited amount of time that we have compared to like the rocks and how long they've been here and breathing there and their journey, the rocks journey down this river, because not all these rocks stay. So my goal here is for Forest Friday to just explore this natural habitat on a weekly basis so that you can and I can see the changes. And I like to start out the session after I say hello with a little bit of poetry. I'm still in this book right here. So, anyway, I'm Val. Welcome to my channel. Very slowly getting things and going and providing an alternative to all of the crazy stuff that's available, all the content that's available out there. Um, yeah, so let's just chill out, no pun intended. I'm going to set you up so you can watch the water. I'll read a poem or two and then we'll go for a quick walk. Um, alrighty. Okay, like I said before, if you've watched any of the other series in the past weeks, I'm kind of reading these in order. I've skipped over a few just because they mention a different season. Um, all right, so this seems a little apropos to what I just mentioned about getting out of the house. It is by Lucia Perillo, 1958 to 2016. It says, the title is I Could Name Some Names of those who have drifted through thus far, of their allotted 50 or 70 or 90 years on earth, with no disasters happening. Whatever had to be given up was given up. The food at the rehab facility was better than you would expect, and the children turned out more or less okay. Sure, there were some shaky years, but no one's living in the basement anymore with a divot in his head where the shrapnel landed. Or don't look at her stump. It is easy to feel possessed of a soul that's better schooled than the fluffy cloud inside of people who have never known such like events by which our darlings are unfavorably remade, and the self is the darling's darling. I equals darling squared. Every day I meditate against my envy, directed against those who drift inside the bubble of no trouble. What is the percentage? 20% of us? 8%? 0. Maybe the ex president with his nubile daughters, vigorous old parents, and clean colonoscopy. Grr. Remember to breathe. Breathe in suffering and breathe out blessings. Say the ancient Dharma texts. Still, I beg to file this one complaint that some are mountain biking through the scrublands while she is here at Ralph's Thriftway, running her thumb over Peach's bruise, her leg a steel rod and a miniskirt to make sure I see. I'll do one more. This is translated from Chinese by J.P. Season by Han Shan, the 9th century. They laugh at me, hey farm boy, skinny head, your hat's not tall enough, and your belt goes round you twice. It's not that I don't know what's in it. What's in? If you don't have the cash, forget it. But someday I'll get rich for sure, and then I'll wear a big, tall Buddhist gravestone on my head. You know what? This is good sign. Actually, at part 2, mindfulness, which will be in the new year. So let me read the final. There's a Jack Kerouac, 1922 to 1969. Just 3 lines. In my medicine cabinet, the winter fly has died of old age. And then the last one in this section, before we make it to the new year, is by Ron Padgett, 1942, called The Joke. When Jesus found himself nailed to the cross, crushed with despair, crying out, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" he enacted the story of every person who suddenly realizes not that he or she has been forsaken, but that there never was a forsaker, for the idea of immortality that is the birthright of every human being gradually vanishes until it is gone, and we cry out. Excellent. So in the new year, we'll move on to part 2. So I like to encourage you to just take some time to go slow, to look at things in your world that maybe you don't normally notice because we're too busy. We're staring at our phones, we're in our emails, we're dealing with what we need to put on the table for dinner or how to put food on the table, all of the different levels in between. So yeah, let's take a walk back up the hill and I will wish you farewell and a happy new year. All right, let's go. Again, remember that's our navigational spot, the mushrooms on that tree over there. And you'll notice that the leaves have washed away as the level of the river changes here. Take a look up. There's a little mist in the air. It feels like little angel kisses. And finding Usnea. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably wrong. You can see some of the drips in this little pond that sometimes is nice and flat for us, very calm. It's pretty fun. A different version of fireworks. A quieter version of fireworks. I don't like to add music or anything to these videos just because I feel like we are we're like too much sounds, right? That we don't spend enough time like listening to silence or, you know, the quietness of walking or the whispers, you know, of birds and that type of thing. We're constantly piping in sounds, and maybe that's just an intent to like not have silence and to not think. But I've gotten to the point where I don't like to do that. I don't like to really like listen to other types of sound noises especially while I'm outside, because I just like to be really aware of what is around me. There's dogs barking far to my right. Sometimes over here you can hear my roosters, you can hear the donkeys. The grayness of the old pine that fell. All right, we're gonna walk up this steep hill, take a look back down. Just trying to do pretty much the same route every time. There's that's the habitat for all the wild animals. That in my pocket. These pops of white. Catch my breath. All the moss that's formed on the side here. The little flowers still hanging on. So cute. All of this here for so long. All the beautiful moss. It's definitely sprinkling. My screen has lots of rain drops on it. Looking up. Looking down. The mushrooms on the tree where I was standing. Farm over there. Let's walk down the trail here. These are not moving today. It's very still. Notice all the pops of different types of green. The grasses, the moss, the fern, the rocks, the water, the layers. the layers of the gray, green. So I just want to thank you for checking this out. And if you've stuck with me the whole entire time, if you become a subscriber, that would be amazing to me. I want to wish you a happy new year, and here's to hoping that next year will be better than this year. Even if you had a good year, it'll be even better, right? Kind of billing myself as a disconnect to reconnect guide, and my goal is really to encourage that, making that part of your routine, finding some time during the week where you can turn things off and spend 15-20 minutes with yourself doing something that you love, or just taking a walk in the park, or finding something, going to the local library, whatever it might be that you can do to nourish those types of things that you have said, if I could, I would, right? Whether it be, I want to read more, I want to walk more, I want to learn how to paint, I want to roller skate, I want to join a book club, different stuff like that. So here's to you, and I appreciate it. And see you in January. Take my glove off to turn us off.